Woo, yay.
All right. So what's new in your world besides
I've
being
been
sick?
so sick this week. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's been just ridiculous. I mean, yeah. I just eat, sleep, and sleep.
Yeah.
No, it's not COVID. It's other symptoms. I had COVID in December.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So,
So yeah.
yeah. And people can argue over whether or not the immunity lasts more than 90 days or not, but I haven't seen any good science that shows that it doesn't last more than 90 days. So
Right. Yeah.
until you know, they were anyway, I'm not going to go into it. It's not what this show's about, but
Yeah.
if they actually can like show that it doesn't last more than 90 days, then I might start looking at getting a vaccine, but I really don't go that many places anyway. I go to the gym. I go, and it's warming up, so I'm going to be doing less of that, just running outside.
Yeah.
I go to the grocery store sometimes. I mean, that's about it. But even then, I have my groceries delivered most of the time. So
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't want to be euthanized by a vaccine. So
yeah, I just if they make it not worth not having the vaccine, then I'll get it. But at this point, it's just whatever. A couple of weeks, I'm going to a retreat in Nashville with a bunch of other guys. So I'm gonna be 2 weeks from today. I'll miss this call, but
oh, okay.
yeah. So that did push back the um Dev Influencers podcast release, so that'll start going out next week. But the flip side is that it did push me to start getting everything kind of locked down.
Yeah.
The other thing is and this is interesting. I know you and Manny have kind of had feelings about Andy Frisella, but I was listening to one of his episodes and he was talking to Ed Milet, and they were talking about basically just doing what it takes,
Oh,
to
yeah.
get where you want to go and just doing what it takes to win. And I don't know that I'd really thought that deeply about, because they were talking about how they kind of came up from places where things were hard, right?
Right.
And boy, we're getting into our thoughts already. But it really made me think, right? Because they were like, I come from a place where I'm still fighting to not be in the, in that place where things are that hard, right? And and I'm trying to win, on this higher level. And I think that's part of what I've never had, right? Is that, I grew up, kind of upper middle class. My dad was a dentist, back when dentists actually made money.
Right.
Um, and so we always had everything we needed and then some, right? My dad actually paid for my first year of college, before his health really started to turn and things got hard that way. But I mean, by then, I never really had to struggle for anything. um I took out student loans for what I had to and got grants for the rest. So I mean, when I graduated, I had a couple $1,000s in student loan debt was all.
Yeah.
I've always been smart enough to be able to get the job that I wanted. So I've never really had to like tooth and nail scratch and fight for what I had, what I had. And so, um, you know, it's been interesting because I've been thinking back about like all this stuff that you guys have been like, dude, you just have to just get in there and get stuff done. And what's interesting is I'm like, well, I am, and I have, but I realized that I've never really like gone all the way in where I'm just, I'm I'm risking getting bloodied up for it, right? Or where
Yeah.
I'm just putting in like everything that, you know, where I'm risking it all, and not really even just risking it all, but where I'm acting like I have it all on the line because I've never been in that position where I've had to, if that makes sense, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
even when things got really bad last year, it was like, oh, this is painful. My headphones just died. So I'm going to talk and I won't be able to hear you until I put my other headphones in, but I'm going to keep going anyway. But yeah, I just got to the point where, you know, it was like, oh, this is really painful. And then I just bailed out and went and got a job. So it was never that hard, right? And so I've really been thinking about that and where that's gotten me. And I've realized that at this point, I've got to make that decision to go in that way, right? To just to fight for it that hard. And, you know, as though my back's up against the wall and, you know, it's, you know, put up or die.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out how to get my mindset to that place.
Well, you know, one of the ways that I operate is I treat everything like it's life or death, right? Like when I was training for the marathons and the ultra running, like every single run was life or death. Like there was no way I could possibly miss a run, right?
Uh-huh.
When it comes to like putting out YouTube videos, it's life or death. There's no way a video is not coming out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. When I was doing 2 a day, it was life or death. Getting my inbox to 0, life or death, right? Like all of these things, I treat them as life or death. Hitting my workouts, I just kind of run my life that way where like almost everything is life or death. Like there's no, it's almost like, you know, the way I look at it is it's like when you're driving in a car, like Manny, and and you see a red traffic light, you don't think to yourself, maybe I should not stop, right? It's life or death. Like you're stopping, like you believe that you must stop at a red traffic light. There's not a
Right.
question in your mind. But so all the things in your life that you don't have that level of certainty and commitment to, then they can fall. Like you can question them, right? So that's what I mean by making it life or death. Is like every single thing, it's like there's no question. All the critical things, like there's no question. Like you have to be so committed to it that you treat it like you will die if you do not do this thing, right? And I think that's the best way to have that. I mean, that's the only way that I can operate and get all that done.
There is a distinction in there, a little nuance there. Your life or death is more of your deliverables, while in case of Chuck, the life or death he's talking about is more of the outcomes, and those are two different things, right? Because deliverables are within your control. It's like the lead metrics versus the lag
Right.
metrics. Chuck is more worried about the lag, while you're worried about the lead.
Right.
But see, you can never worry about the lag metrics, right? Because the thing is that you cannot control results. You can only control your deliverables, your actions, right? The results don't belong to you. And that's why, like, and it also will steer you wrong, because you can do the wrong thing and get the right results, and you can do the right thing and get the wrong results. That's why the focus has to be on doing the right thing,
Right.
you know, and that's key. Because if you're, I'm playing the game before, so like even from a financial perspective, I'm extremely fiscally conservative because I'm anticipating, you know, what potentially could happen in the future. That's why I'm treating everything so seriously now, as opposed to like letting it happen and then seeing where I'm at. Like I'm trying to be ahead of the game by a huge amount, right? So so for example, in business, if I see revenue drop like at all, I'm immediately cutting costs before I'm in trouble. Even if I have a $50,000 buffer in the bank, I'm still cutting the costs, because I'm looking at what's happening right now, and what's potentially going to happen in the future. So I don't know.
Right.
I mean, it just all comes down to making it everything that you have to do life or death, and then not, you know, that's got to be the commitment level has to be that high. That's the only way I can do it. Because same thing, like I never came from I didn't really have difficult background, and so I had to make it difficult for myself in a way.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, because a lot of times what happens is like I'll get there and I'll be like, all right, you know, I'm gonna, you know, this is life or death, and I'm good for like 3 days, right? And then it gets hard, and you know, if I push this off for a few hours, right, and then a few hours later I'm just you know, I'm tired, or I'm this, or I'm that, and it's really frustrating because the next day I'm like, you know, I committed to that and I didn't do it.
Well, some of it is you have to make yourself suffer, right? So here's maybe a better example, right? So when I was playing online poker for a long time, a while back ago, and I would put like $200 or $300 on my account every month. At some point, I was doing that, right? And so I was like playing, and I was losing money, and then I would put $200 or $300 on it every month, right? And then I realized, like, I'm not going to be a winning player if I just keep on putting money on my account. This is stupid because I'm making bad decisions. I'm playing recklessly. I'm not playing as good as I can because I know that I can put $200 or $300 on my account every month and have the money. So one day I decided, no more. You're not putting any more money. You can only put the money you have on the account. And at that time I had 10 cents left on the account. So I played with 10 cents. I had to eat, you know, I was used to playing, you know, big money, you know, like, you know, $5 hands, 10 cents. So I had to play 1 cent, 2 cent poker, right? Where you bet 1 cent or 2 cent. Okay. But I did that. I grinded it out because I left myself no other options. I penalized myself, made myself feel the pain of playing one. Otherwise, you're not going to play anymore. And then I built that account all the way up to $10,000.
Oh, wow.
Because I backed myself into a corner. So maybe what you need to do is you need to make yourself pay when you don't, right? So instead of, you know, saving yourself, make yourself feel the pain of whatever it is that you didn't do, right? So maybe you have to go without, maybe you can't eat out, maybe you have to like cut your cell phone service, maybe you have to cut your expenses, you have to cut your cable TV, you have to cut whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like, you know, any of those things, like something that you're like, okay, well, now I can't eat out for the month because I don't have the money, you know what I mean? So make yourself feel that pain.
There is something more to what you said there, John. The idea that you only had to play with 10 cents is basically the idea that Chuck can apply to his business today.
Right.
Which is you only have $0 to play with. Now what are you going to do?
Right.
Now, like zero-based thinking is in this month, you're starting with $0. Now you have to make all the money to pay all the business and to pay your mortgage.
Right.
Now what? That's basically what you're trying to do when you say you're putting yourself in a corner, but you really have to get rigorous with it to the level that John was, where it's only 10 pennies, and now go make it happen. So you could do that with your business starting today or whenever, April 1st. Oh, April Fool's? No, April 2nd is a good day to start with that.
Yep.
And say, I only start with $1 this month, and let's see what we can pull off. And that's going to be a grind. It's going to be hard work. Maybe it's $1, maybe it's $1,000. I don't know. You need to pay some employees or whatever it is.
Right.
But you say, I'm starting with this bank account, and this bank account is separate from everything else. And only this bank account can now bankroll the business and my mortgage payments.
Right.
Right. Huh.
Yeah, you got to make it so that you like you are backed into a corner. You have to actually take your outs out of it. You can't get any help. You can't tap out. You know what I mean? Like that's the way to force yourself into the spot, into the position.
Okay. I can do that. Because that to me also just feels like, I don't want to say a game, but it feels like I can put the rules in place, and those are the rules that I'm playing by.
Yeah,
and that's good,
right?
It is a game. Yeah.
Game is good.
Yeah.
Anything you can approach as a game is actually the best thing you can do for yourself in terms of performance. Like the whole idea of flow and the theory of performance kind of boils down to game. To play, it's like peak performance comes in a sport, and sports or anything, any game, where you have constraints and you have to deliver in those constraints.
Yep. Now I'm gonna start singing here, Mary Poppins and snap. Life's a game. But yeah, so I can do that for sure, right? But I've tried
you have to-
motivating myself on a whole bunch of other things, you know, and some people talk about like motivating on anger or motivating on I'm going to show these people, and that just doesn't work.
No, it's not. Those aren't
But
good.
everyone has a different motivator. You can use whichever one you want.
But you know, I'm going to play within these, you know, within these boundaries, and I'm going to win. I think that'll work. I think I can do that.
Yeah, motivation doesn't work. It's not the way, like, what
Right.
it is. It's like, okay, when you have a regular 9 to 5 job, right? You show up and you get.
Can I get out of that?
What's that?
Can I get out of mine?
Well, when you do have one, you go to work you show up at 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you stay until 5, right? You
Yep.
don't not show up. You don't show up late. You don't go home early. Even if you don't feel like working, you get the work done, right?
Right.
You're not motivated to get up and go to work every morning. You're not, but you do it. Why? Because you have to. And
Yep.
so you make these things into the have to list, that it must happen. That's what the life or death
Yep.
is. Like, you don't have any problem doing those things that you have to do in life. So it's the same thing. It was like with the diet, when I was doing 1 meal a day, I have to do it. I don't have a choice. I have to run. I don't have a choice. I have to go to the gym. I don't have a choice. I have to make videos. I don't have a choice, right? So it's like you move it into the category of I don't have a choice. I have to do it. Because if you rely on motivation, no matter what, if it's whatever it is, if you're like, I'm going to show people I'm angry, all those things, that's not going to last. It's not going to be, you have to make decisions at a time and then say, okay, this is the rules and I must follow the rules. And that's it. You know, that's right. It has to be that.
Okay. All right.
Even a lot of the guys I coach, I'm like, all right, well, you know, set a time. You're the boss now. Like, be the boss of yourself. I'm like, set what time do you have to be in at work every morning? Okay, that's it. You know, what time do you get to leave work every day? Okay, how many breaks do you get per day? Right? Like, what kind of work needs to be done every week? Right? Be the boss. And then, and you know, you would, if you had a real boss, you would do what the boss says. So you're the boss. So you tell yourself what you have to do, and then you have to do it.
Yep. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah. So speaking of this stuff that's going on, today is Good Friday, which is a corporate holiday for my 9 to 5. So I have the rest of the day off. And so I am working on getting the Dev Influencers podcast up and launched. There are some episodes still yet to be edited, so it'll probably launch early next week. Just because I want that all on point. But I have been double and triple checking all of the other stuff as far as like, you know, all the links and flows and all that other stuff. And it looks like it's all lined up. I updated the landing page because it was pretty cluttered. It's pretty minimalist right now, but I can live with that.
Minimal is better.
Yeah, well, for right now, I have kind of a clean slate to work from, and I think what I've got there will work for now. So
just the 1-page headline is enough.
Yeah. So well, and I'm going to be sending people there, so they've already got some context, right? So I don't have to go and like, it's not a cold landing page.
Exactly.
So from there, I just got to start sending people there from the Dev Influencers podcast and get that all put in and running. So that's the plan this week. And then I've got to get a bunch of more videos together for the accelerator participants. I had one more person.
Why?
Because he's the one guy in particular, he's asking for how to do this and how to do that. And I've been showing it to him, but I need to get what I've been showing him up where he can see it, because he wants to see the recordings. So
okay, because that would minimize any work that is payoff.
I didn't catch that at all.
I'm saying anything that has a one-time payoff, you shouldn't do any recording or anything.
Yeah, well, most of this is stuff that I need to record for my team anyway. On how to do it for my stuff. So it pays off for both. The other thing is that, you know, I can stick it in the recordings for the accelerator. So and a lot of it is it's just a 10-minute, hey, here's how I do this. So
yeah.
And so it facilitates me handing it off to somebody else. It shows them how to do it. And yeah, anyway, it saves me a bunch of time. And it's stuff that they need anyway. So
yeah, I mean, I would do minimal effort on that in the sense you would do a Zoom recording and put it up and not try to like create a whole teachable site and put it there and do all that crap. If anything, put it on Dropbox and give him a link, and that's it for the time being. Don't try to rev up a members area and create this and create that. You're just gonna end up creating so much work for yourself.
And I've just let them know this. I'm like, look, you know, you basically are getting, it's in Teachable, and I've just been adding them with their emails. And I'm like, look, you're getting basically a set of recordings. And, you know, if there's like a link to the resource that I mentioned in there, I mean, that's it, right? Here's my affiliate link to the, you know, what I use to do it kind of thing. But I'm not fleshing it all out into a big course. I'm just, you know, here's how you do this, especially the ones that take like 20 or 30 minutes to explain. You know, that I've just, you know, because after the third time, I was like, this takes up a lot of time in these meetings. So when I get them in, I'm like, hey, you got to go watch the first 2 videos, and you need to do the first one, and then come back next time with a good start on it so that we can talk about it. But yeah.
What's happening in the world of Facebook advertising?
How about it? Oh yeah, Chuck's gonna start Facebook advertising?
No, I'm asking you, Manny, what's your update?
It's going okay. Actually, Zach.
He bought a car.
Yeah. Zach took over. So he told me to tie my hands behind my back and not say anything for the next 7 days. So I'm just letting Zach drive it. So I have no idea what's going on right now.
So he's running your ads now that you've got them working, and see what he does?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have no idea what's going on. I literally, like, if I'm not in control, I don't even want to look at the numbers, because it will only create, like, I will be like up in arms and running and screaming and trying to fix this and fix that. He's like, dude, you will not touch this shit for a week while I run this. I'm like, okay, right. All right.
Okay.
So I have no idea what's going on, except that I have given him the reins of the ads for now.
Well, good. That'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. It's simplified everything, though there's always the pros and cons of simplification versus running more tests and getting more data and all that stuff. So we'll see. I'm just like, all right, Zach, you go for it. We'll see next week what happens.
I had Cole from the Cole's whatchamacallit. He was in the war room.
Right. Cole Humpus.
Yeah, I had him on my channel. He was talking about scaling your business and Facebook advertiser and using ads to run a business. So it was pretty good, pretty insights he had on it. So
you already published it?
Yeah, it was a live stream. So yeah.
How did he hit you up? How did he get to know you?
Through Gregory from Morning Hustlers.
Oh, Greg, yeah.
So yeah, he had some pretty interesting. He definitely said that, you know, if you were starting a business today, he would he would start it with traffic, with paid traffic. So
With paid traffic?
yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, he built most of his business off of paid traffic.
Yeah.
I mean, very early phase, he was organic, but then he quickly moved to paid.
Yeah.
And yeah, he has a lot of good insights on membership.
Yeah, he does.
I'm sure you guys could talk hours and hours about it. He's good at the membership stuff.
Yeah, I'm thinking
He's
about.
like,
Go ahead.
huh?
I said I'm thinking
about
the Masterclass, the passive income Masterclass is as a sort of like lead in for paid advertising, and then doing an upsell from there to like the monthly membership potentially, or do that, or some kind of combination of that.
You're gonna do the same topic?
Well, it could be the passive income Masterclass. I have it recorded. It could be something I sell on with ads on the front end.
It has to be a very clear offer. So maybe that is the case. You have to very clearly define the offer. And passive income by itself, man, that's gonna have Facebook red flagging you all over the place.
I guess
it falls in the get rich quick scheme, even though it's not.
Yeah.
Facebook is just gonna like, you're gonna have a hard time trying to advertise for that just because of the nature of that field.
Is it going to be a second offering on Bulldog Mindset?
I mean, it already is. Like, you can buy the passive income Masterclass instead of get it free when you're a member. But
I got it. So it's a Masterclass you did that's inside the membership.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I gotcha.
Yeah, it's the Masterclass. It's a good one, but dude, Facebook makes it so hard to advertise on shit that is like anywhere close to
making money.
Make money things. So you have to be very careful with that. You could reframe it. You could call it the YouTube. Like if you did the YouTube growth masterclass, that you could sell. That would not be a problem.
Yeah.
Or the blog growth masterclass, the email marketing masterclass. But passive income as a whole, like you need another angle is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. So I can call it something different.
You call it something different, and it has to be a very clear offer that, like something tangible, like passive income masterclass. The problem with passive income masterclass is it's too big and encompassing as an offer.
Well, I wouldn't call it that for the offer. I'd call it something different. I just have to rename it, basically.
Right. It has to be a very, like you're much better off selling a very precise and quick outcome rather than a broad outcome with like something that people will be able to work and get results right away, rather than something that people will. This is the kind of stuff what you're talking about is probably like they will have to work on for years to get to that level to be able to implement all the stuff you're talking about, right? Yeah. Even though it's a simple 3-hour workshop, that should end 3 hours. That's more like 3 years of work to get there. So yeah, I mean, you can run ads to a specific outcome inside of that masterclass that you want.
Exactly.
How to sell your courses through YouTube. Nah, that's very, like you need a very precise outcome is what I'm trying to say. A very clear outcome. Passive income masterclass is a very difficult outcome to sell.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's got to be something specific. Yeah, I'll have to think about it. I'll have to see. But
yeah, you need a headline like that is very tangible and very like, oh, I gotta have this to your ideal audience.
Right.
See, the passive income masterclass for your warm audience or for your email list or for your YouTube list, it's great because they know all the context behind you teaching it. They know you've done it, you've built a business, all of that shit. Like, so they have a lot more clarity around what you're trying to sell when you approach, when you sell passive income masterclass. But the YouTube or the Facebook world, they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't understand that. Like, you're going to go to cold audience and they're going to be like, who is this guy? And like, passive income masterclass is going to be very difficult it's a very, it's a broad, unclear outcome.
Right.
It has to be a very like sharp, snappy outcome.
Yeah.
To be able to just get the results. So maybe there's something, membership growth hack. No, that's not your ideal avatar. What do you think? Like, your ideal avatar, what could be the end result you could sell to them?
I'm trying to think based on what the masterclass has in it. It's like, I mean, something along the lines of making your,
I wouldn't worry about the masterclass, what masterclass has in it, because you can literally design anything you want and package it up in 2 hours. That's not such a big problem. The bigger challenge is like, what is the perfect offer you can sell? I would not worry about what I have and then try to package it. I would worry more about what is the precise outcome. Like, so think about it like this. I want my ideal customer to join my Bulldog membership for life, right? Yeah. That's the end result you're looking for. And from that, you back it up all the way to what is the perfect offer I can make them today so that they can get the results and start believing in me, and so that they will join the membership, and so that they will ultimately escalate to lifetime or a coaching member, a coaching client.
Yeah.
Right. So whatever the ultimate outcome is that you want for that client or that customer, you start with that in mind, and then you work backwards all the way to the offer that you want to make to them, and you try to make it as crisp and as like actionable and result oriented as you could. Like, really hardcore result that you can get them in like even 60 minutes would be way better than more broad outcomes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. That makes sense.
So if you want,
so then the masterclass is the doorway in to get them in as a customer that eventually will get them to buy the Bulldog mindset. Is that what you're saying?
Yes and no. The masterclass is a doorway for the warm audience on his list, but it's not the doorway for a $37 offer, because it's not a clear outcome that the passive income masterclass is not a clear outcome. It's not a clear offer. It doesn't have teeth right now, because it is good for people who know him. They would love to learn from him. They know who he is, and they're like, yeah, John's teaching about passive income, I want to be in it. But people who don't know him, the cold audience, for them, it's like, it's not a clear enough outcome for them to want to participate in it. They need a very specific outcome to plunk down the $37 at mass scale. So it's not like one, some people might buy it, but you want enough of a conversion that it's worth it for you, right? To break even on the front end or something. So the end result has to be clear, which means you could take a piece of the masterclass, or you could take 10 pieces of the masterclass, but you have to reframe the end result in something completely different than the way it is set up right now.
Yeah, that's true.
So the question then becomes, would you rather sell the alpha male stuff, or would you rather sell the business stuff? Would you rather sell the fitness stuff to get your ideal client? And because you got 3 different things inside of there that you could be using to sell. What would be the perfect kind of angle for getting the perfect customer in your system.
What I'm actually kind of envisioning as you're saying all that is maybe, I don't have the right words for it, but essentially some kind of a checklist, right? Like, because you want quick results, right? So something like to be like, almost like, are you a top 5% or ideal man checklist? Like all the areas of your life you need to get in order, right? So something about like think about like delivering in 30 minutes or an hour, some hacks that you can do to get yourself on the right track financially, physically, dating, to get the bang for your buck, right? Type of, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
templates and checklists are great for this kind of stuff as well. But again, a specific outcome, a very specific outcome is what you need.
Yeah, this would be like a turn your life around, like checklist, like turn your life around in 60 minutes.
But is that you think, is that enough? Is that a clear enough outcome? To me, it is a very broad outcome.
Yeah, I have to come up with a very specific set of things that you would get from that would give you.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even, I would not go broad on this. I would go narrow on this to go broad, in the sense, I would pick one of the fields, and you could literally be like, how to leave your 9 to 5 and start your side hustle, or how to start a side hustle template, start your online side hustle template.
That's a good,
something like that. Might be more like in 90 days, how to get started with your first business in 90 days, or these are the things you need to do. Something like that. That would be very, very clear outcome without, a very clear outcome is what you're really after.
Yeah.
That someone who reads the first line knows, this is what I'm going to get in this.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that makes sense.
As a passive income masterclass, it could be as useful to someone who's never started a business to someone who's been in business for a while. Different, nobody knows what the outcome really speaks to.
Right, exactly.
So are you thinking of doing it this quarter?
Hopefully. Well, yeah, I mean, I still got a bunch of things I need to get cleaned up and ready, but I'm hoping to do it this quarter, maybe towards the end of this quarter. So
nice. Yeah, it is a project. You won't be able to give it to an agency, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, there's no way at this point that
You've already done it a few times.
Yeah. Too many times.
Yeah, you have to do it like too many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You almost have to commit to figuring it out, at least for, I mean, I say 3 months. 3 months is an underestimate. 3 months is a starting, because that's when the ads really will start. But literally it takes quite a bit. Ads are such a fucking roller coaster. Every day it's like, oh, are we profitable today? Oh no, shit, what happened? Okay, let's go fix this shit. Let's go fix that shit. So you're gonna have to allow yourself that time to be able to dedicate to figuring out ads. Nobody's gonna do that for you, unfortunately, in the first, until you have already spent until you're spending 5 to 10K a month. There will be agencies who will want to take it from you, but I wouldn't trust most of them.
Right. Yeah.
Because they're gonna just say shit and then come back a month later, take their $1,000, $2,000 and their 10% commission, be like, sorry man, it's not working the way we thought it would work. Yeah, and they'll spend your $10,000 and they'll take your $2,000 and they'll take a 10% cut. So you're out of a lot of money for someone who's not as dedicated to your business as you are.
Yeah, no, it's true.
People never like Ryan Hunter Masters, right? You know Antonio's friend. I mean, the guy from Menfluential.
Yeah.
You remember? You talked to him or no?
Yeah, no, I know who Ryan is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've had communication with him, right?
Yeah.
So I was talking to Antonio a while ago. He's like, dude, Ryan, he's probably hired like 10 different agencies. He just keeps firing all of them.
Oh,
Just
really?
goes back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes back to doing it all himself. And you know he's doing what? He did 6 or 7 million last year, right?
Yeah.
In the dance space. So, huh?
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, he's running it all himself.
Yeah.
$7 million. But then I know this girl who launched a product in December and made, from her list, she made like $2,000-$3,000.
Right.
And in April, this is 2020, in April, she did $300,000 in revenue for that product, all through Facebook ads.
Wow, that's crazy.
So that's like insane. Like she was talking about how there were days she was spending $10,000 a day.
Wow, that's just insane. Imagine the airline miles you're getting. $10,000 a day on your credit card.
Right. I mean, that is some fun games you have to play. Like that is, to me, that just sounds so much fun to be able to spend that kind of money and to be able to make it back rather quickly and more.
Yeah.
And it's a game of like super leverage, because content marketing is a game of time leverage.
Right.
But advertising is a game of time and money leverage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah, $10,000 a day, man. That's good stuff. That's fun.
Well, that's what you're spending right now. You don't even know it. Zach is.
Oh yeah.
$1,000 a day on your ads.
Fucking Zach's like tuned it up. So, no, the good thing is Facebook will deny it.
He's like, don't worry, you'll make it on the back end.
There we go.
Facebook will deny it. That's a good thing, because Facebook will basically know that my account has never spent that kind of money.
Yeah.
And Facebook will not let me do it. In the sense, they will basically flag it, and they might even shut down my account if I try to do shit like that.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I better go and watch my account and make sure Zach hasn't spent all that money on some black hat, like supposedly driving traffic to my site, but it's going to some black hat traffic site. No.
Oh, there we go.
Oh man. Yeah, that's fun.
We're running.
Any major plans for the quarter? Major plans for the quarter?
I don't know at this point. We're running that promotion on Simple Programmer right now, so I'll have to see how that does. I don't have the stats, but
who's the guy who's trying to buy?
Yeah.
You're running the promotion right now?
Yeah, we're running it right now, so that's what the stats are.
Is it already, like, how many days has it been, or is it?
I think it's been like 4 days.
What do you think?
I don't know. I can't tell. Let me look at the actual. Let me look in Drip and see what the email. I tried the affiliate dashboard. I didn't see the data on there. We had a mix up with the affiliate account at one point. So.
What's he using for affiliate?
ClickFunnels. So.
Okay. Wait, ClickFunnels reporting error? Are you kidding me? That never happens.
Their affiliate system is so okay. Never mind. I just remember I went through one funnel away, and then I was doing the 2 Comma Club X, and I would set up the summit on there and the challenge through there, and setting up affiliates in there is so hard, and then trying to keep track of anything in there was also backward.
I mean, I'm seeing decent clicks, not great clicks, but like the first email had 419 clicks on it.
Oh, okay.
Not bad. Second one had 462. Oh, the third one only had 122. I don't know what happened there. Then 107, 330, 333, 200, 193.
How many emails have you guys sent already?
There's like 9 emails that have been sent so far.
And it's to what kind of offer? What's the price point?
You think I would know, but I haven't really checked out the offer. I've been busy. Let me see. I thought this was pushing to a webinar, so I think he's selling it on
Right.
a webinar. So maybe that's
Right.
why I don't see it. I don't have the data yet.
Yeah, I mean, if you send 1,000, 2,000 leads or emails, and he's converted them to 1,000 leads, and 20% show up rate, 30% show up rate, 300 people show up, 5% convert, 15 people buy. If he's got all of those numbers dialed in at that level.
Yeah.
If it's $1,000 product, that's $15,000.
Well, we'll see. I mean, he's definitely got his funnel dialed in because he's running paid ads to it. So that's how you know.
Yep, that's when you know shit has to be working. Otherwise, you can't afford to.
Yeah.
It's funny, like the paid ad game. The reason why it's so funny is you will obsess over losing $100 that day, but I don't remember the last time I obsessed over not even realizing that I had lost an hour that day. Someday during my work hours.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
that hour,
Yeah.
and those hours are worth way more than $100, but I didn't obsess over it.
Yeah.
But $100 lost on Facebook ads, it's like, what the fuck? What's wrong? Why is it not working? What am I doing wrong? Blah blah. You're literally spending your whole day trying to figure that shit out. While when you're spending your time on something, on content, like on content-based business, you don't obsess over $100 lost in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same, right? You will go and hang out with friends, you'll go party, you'll go do all these other things because your time is taken for granted, but the money is not taken for granted.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah. We're funny creatures that way.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't think what else I got going on. Not a whole lot. I've been setting up everything in my office, so I need to do a push. Well, I'll have to schedule at some point doing a push for the membership, like some kind of offer, and then raising the price again, and then trying to sell the platinum membership.
You put those butterflies up on the wall in your office?
Yes, that's
what he's been doing. That's what he's been working on for the last few days.
It's like I
let
like
me
contrast, like the dark and then the butterfly. Like
yeah, the butterfly mindset.
Yeah,
that's going to be the softer side of the bulldog mindset.
Yeah,
it's correlated. What I think you could do is you could test out different offers through your through this endeavor. Basically, every month you guys can design a new offer and test it and see the one that has the highest uptake, that has that has people going really crazy for it, And that's the one that will have potential for Facebook ads as well.
I see. Yeah. I need to do more of the Masterclass offers. Hopefully, I guess maybe this month I can get one going.
Maybe it's a Masterclass offer, or maybe it's a template or checklist offer.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's an offer just to test what is it that people are interested in.
Yeah.
And then presenting that as
Mm-hmm.
like you can also have a live record or live Q&A session that follows it, or live implementation session that's part of it. So when people buy it, they also get that. So that way you create urgency for your Masterclass people to buy it. But that's like, you're basically testing offers is what I'm trying to say, rather than assuming offers will work. Because you don't know. You make the assumption that it'll work, but I don't think that is the right way to approach ads.
No, like I did that Bluehost one, and that one, I expected that to work. It didn't work at all.
Yeah, and the thing is, we can play these games when we have like our free like content marketing game, right? Our list to promote to, so we're not that worried. We're like, oh, okay, well, it didn't work, so what? But with paid media, we can't play like that, because we got to like, shit, I better deliver on this, or we're losing a lot of money. Like designing the offer is probably the biggest part of the equation, and if that doesn't work, then everything else will be broken in the whole. Like, no matter how good your content is inside, and no matter how good your marketing is, if your offer sucks, or if its offer is not sharp, you can't advertise. You can advertise, but you can't make money.
Yeah.
Right? So the sharpness of the offer is what you're testing with these masterclasses, is what I'm suggesting.
Yeah.
So even if you do a masterclass every month on one topic or another, you can literally have 3 different offers to test. And you can put them up as masterclasses and see which one gets darn conversions. Or the other thing you could also do is you can send a list, an email to your list with a survey saying, hey, I'm thinking of building this. Are you interested in buying this?
We did that for the masterclass already. We've done a couple of surveys. So I've got some pretty good data on what people are looking for. The most popular stuff is generating passive income, building a business, right? Those are the
Right. So inside of those now, you can again send a survey and say, like, if you were to sell 5 different outcomes, which is the one that people would want the most?
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then use that as the, like, inside of passive income, if you created 5 more outcomes,
right,
and you ask people, hey, okay, which one of these outcomes do you, or which one of these templates or checklists or classes do you want, then you could get a little more granularity on it, because you're basically effectively selling to your ideal audience in that process, and that's the ideal audience you'll attract on Facebook.
Yeah, that's true. All right, should we do our thoughts for the week?
Yeah, probably. So okay. I kind of have 2 thoughts. Oh, go ahead.
No, go. You cannot have more than 2.
So the first one is, and this is, I think I had a similar thought last week, was as I was working through a lot of the processes and coaching these folks on the coaching calls, they kind of pushed me on some of the stuff that I was teaching them, but didn't have nailed down on devchat.tv. And that's been a very positive thing for me, because I've been going and nailing that stuff down on devchat.tv. And yeah, I mean, it's stuff that I know how to do. It's stuff that I've done in the past. It just, for whatever reason, wasn't completely nailed down. I think it was mainly because we had switched themes on the WordPress setup. and it just hadn't gotten carried over. But yeah, so that was one very positive thing that came out of it. And related to that was just the processes, right? You know, since we had the turnover with Michelle to Michaela, yeah, just having, again, you know, those processes documented and things like that. And some of the things that hadn't been documented, that's getting highlighted now again with this coaching, right? And it's stuff that I know how to do, and I've showed Michaela how to do. But yeah, getting it documented for these folks because they need to see how to do it, and realizing, okay, you know, this stuff is getting done, but it's not fully documented the way that I need it to be for Michaela, and some of the stuff isn't getting done 100% the way that I want it to be done. You know, it's just been really, really clarifying. The other thing, though, is that getting more and more of these processes in place has also helped me realize that there are things that I am doing that I can get off my plate now that will allow me to push forward. And I'm starting to see an end in sight for being able to quit my job and actually go back to doing what I really want to be doing. And so all of these things are kind of coming together in ways that open doors for me. And so I guess it's kind of the main thought is, by getting clarity on some of the small things, it allows you to start seeing the big picture in different ways that allow you to envision what's possible as you move forward. And so you don't have to have, and this is where I'm seeing people get hung up, both as I coach them and as I work with other people that are not necessarily in like a formal coaching setup, is that you don't have to have the entire big picture figured out up front. In fact, in software development, we kind of tell you not to do that, right? Don't do waterfall, do agile. But you do have to have some form of that, right? You have to kind of know what you're working toward. And then you can start filling that in as you move toward it. And that's what these incremental steps get you to, right? So it's, okay, I need this, and then this, and then this, and then this. And as you kind of get those other things figured out, then it's, okay, I'm a lot more clear now. I need to get these things nailed down, right? I've got to get the podcasting processes nailed down. I've got to get the sponsorship processes nailed down. I've got to get the coaching processes nailed down. I've got to get now enough people and enough sponsors in the door to, you know, fill these needs. And then once those processes are running and I've put enough fuel into them to get them to where I need to be, then, and, you know, so that's all focus stuff, right? Then I can start looking at, okay, what's the next option? What's the next thing? If I've sufficiently mined all of the other stuff, right? And so it's been really interesting to kind of come back around to that. And then the other thought. So the first thought is, you know, kind of get an idea of where you want to go and then incrementally build to that. The second thought is what we were talking about earlier, is you've got to figure out what's going to get you that urgency and that that motivation and fuel to get you to where you want to go. And what some people talk about working for them isn't necessarily going to work for you, right? Me being pissed off and working out of pissed off, and I've heard a number of people say, I'm going to prove to them, that just didn't work for me, right? Some of these other things it's just not working for me. But I've got to find something that's going to get me that urgency to get there. And, you know, that fear, that drive that some of these other people are deriving from these other things isn't working for me. But setting it up so that I'm working within these parameters is kind of a game. I think that may work for me. And so I'm looking at that and, you know, thinking of that as an opportunity. And so I'm excited to see where that goes. So yeah, you know, figure out what it is that's going to move you ahead and do that.
Mine would be, don't make assumptions, because, you know, look for data, right? So in multiple areas, right? So especially when communicating with people, don't assume that they know what you mean. I've been working with the guy that's setting up the data analytics for me, and I just assumed, you know, I've made this mistake in the past, assuming that people know what I mean. And then finally I went through and I looked at everything and I explained exactly what I was looking for in very, very low level detail. And then I got what I'm looking for now. But making the assumption, like we assume that people understand what we're saying when we say something, or we assume that something is working the way it is. You have to look at the data. You have to actually look at what's actually happening and and not make the assumption. You know, even if it seems like a valid assumption, most assumptions, you know, they need to be backed by data, some kind of proof of it. So.
Okay. Yeah. I have two things. One is something that I had to figure out the hard way or the easy way, whichever one I think. Not the easy way, but the hard way, which is what's called the advertiser's mindset. And the advertiser's mindset is very different from the mindset of content marketing. The advertiser's mindset is that you are constantly and never endingly testing, testing, and testing. And what that means is there are days when a lot of people, like the advertising game is very hard because there are days when you win and you feel like, oh shit, yes, it's working. And there are days when you lose and you're like, oh no, this is it. This is game over. I thought it was going to be working and it's not working. And it's time to call it quits. But the advertiser's mindset is that you keep testing, you keep trying to figure out what's going to work, and you keep going down that path. It's almost like a never ending, you're submitting to the mindset of never ending testing in order to be an advertiser. It's a very challenging mindset because you get absorbed in the idea that, hey, because yesterday we put down $1,000 and we made $3,000 back, today also it should be the same thing. And then for 3 days in a row, you put $1,000 and only $500 come out, and you're like, what the hell happened, right? So the mindset is more like, okay, go back and test more, and go back and test more, and go back and iterate more, and go back and improve more until you get it right all over again. Mm-hmm. So that's the advertiser's mindset. And I hope it's not just the advertiser's mindset, but it's the business mindset overall for everyone out there, not just in advertising, but in business in general, because that's how business is up and down all the time. The other thing, probably the more important thing I wanted to say was it's the end of the quarter, the beginning of a new quarter. So I hope everyone who's in business is taking the time to review the last quarter and planning the quarter that's coming up, because the time off from business and focused on thinking about big picture on the business, it's always helped me come with breakthroughs that I don't do when I'm just sitting in front of my desk every day in and day out, and doing the same old. So the next 3 days, I'm not going to be doing anything business related. I'm just going to be thinking about reviewing the business, reviewing the quarter, and also thinking about what are some of the more strategic moves I need, or just planning the quarter and thinking about the bigger picture of the quarter rather than just the grind. So
yeah,
that.
Awesome.
All right.
All right.
Next week.
See you guys.